Okay guys, welcome back to episode 6 of our space opera game. We are currently making a game where you control a little astronaut in space, kind of. All you have to do is jump on as many platforms as you can and try and build up a high score. Haven't decided yet, but we might add in a few things like you have to collect coins or maybe just to make the game a little bit more interesting. But today's episode we are going to start working on destroying some of the, yesterday in the previous episode we worked on destroying some of the platforms randomly, but in today's episode we want to go back into those platforms and add like a particle effect, so whenever you land on one and it gets destroyed it looks like it shatters and breaks into pieces rather than just gets destroyed off the game scene. And then actually let's jump into here and see, so you can see what's happening. So if we jump onto display capture here, you can see that we are on episode 6 and we're going to work on our break particles here, and we're also going to try and fix the jumping of the astronaut. So at the moment the astronaut can just jump as many times as you press the spacebar. We're going to try and fix that, so only going to allow the astronaut to jump when it is on a platform, which now that I think of it might be a little bit of a problem, because if the platform breaks randomly you might fall where there isn't another platform underneath it. But we'll work on that and see how it works. But for now, let us jump straight into Unity here and see what we have. So let me just get rid of that because I was experimenting earlier. So we got our platform we got our astronaut on our platform and a few more other platforms in the scene. So if we press play, we should be able to see that the game is currently working. It's working perfectly fine, and now we just need to fix the astronauts jumping, because as you can see you can jump out of the scene and then you have to wait for the astronaut to fall down. So we're going to try and fix that. Let's go and do that now, I guess. So let us open up our astronaut. Is it our astronaut? Yeah, it might be our astronaut here. So where do we jump? So here's our jump here. So we want to add in like a little check and to see if the astronaut is actually on a platform. So to do that, I'm just going to pull up something here, which I probably should have pulled up before, just to save us some time. So what we can, first of all, let's go and do this. So if we jump into Unity and we go on, do we have an astronaut prefab, or is that, no we don't. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, okay, yeah, we're going to make an astronaut prefab. So let us drag in our astronaut from our scene into our prefabs folder, just like that. So now that becomes a prefab. So we can go and open up our prefab, and in here we will add in a empty game object like that. So for this is going to be our, we'll just call it collider. So that's going to check if the astronaut is sitting on a platform. So for that, let's go and add in like a little bit of a visual thing so we can see where it is. So that's not correct, so we want to go and reset that so it pops to our astronaut there. So if we zoom in on that, we now need to move that down so it lands just there by the astronaut's foot, like that. So now whenever this collider is touching the platform, we're going to register the astronaut as being grounded. So let's go and do that. So on the collider here, we're probably going to add in a collider. I just want to bring up my previous one just so I can make sure that we're doing this correctly. Let's see, where is it? Not that one. Okay, clearly I cannot find it. But anyway, we will try and do this from scratch. Let's see if I can remember it. So on our collider, let us go and add in another collider. So let's type in collider, and we want probably a box collider. And let us change the size of this, it's going to be relatively small because it only needs to collide with the platform like that. So that's fine. And then what we want to do is add another script onto here. So we'll say grounded collider. Do I need? No, I do need to add script onto the end because we haven't added that onto the other ones. So create a new script like that, create an add. So that's going to be added onto that game object. So that's fine. So now we want to open that. And then in here we can go ahead and delete all of that because we don't think we need that. And then what we want to add is our on collision, I think it is, on collision enter 2D, like that. And then let's see, where do we want to do it? In our astronaut, or should we do it in our global? Let's do it in global. So in our global script we're going to say public static boolean is grounded is equal to true because the astronaut is standing when the game is started. And then when we go into, or when we press the spacebar, which we do in the astronaut script here, so if the spacebar is clicked, then we want to go and add some velocity to the astronaut. So let's do that, like that. Is that right? So we need a colon there. Why did I put a colon there? So get rid of that. So that should be fine. But not only do we want to add in some velocity, we also then want to go and say global dot is grounded is equal to false, not flare, false. We'll get it eventually. There we go, false, like that. So whenever the astronaut jumps, or whenever you press space, you're going to set the is grounded is equal to false. And then in our grounded collider here, we are going to say global dot is grounded is equal to true, just like that. So whenever the collider, or actually we need to do that, but we also need to check if like what we're colliding with. So let's see, let's say if collision dot, we'll use a tag in this case, dot tag dot game object dot tag is equal to what are we gonna call it? So we'll just call it platform tag. So we're gonna create that. So here we can say, let's keep all our strings in one place as well. So here we'll say public static, I think we can do this, public static string, let's try it, read only string, what do we call it, platform tag, like that I think, is equal to platform, just like that. So that we will use we'll say that so we can access it. So we'll use that here instead of platform tag. We will go and say global dot platform tag. So hopefully that works. That does work. So if you collide with a platform, then we are going to go and set is grounded is equal to true, like that. And then what else do we need to do? So we'll save that, and then we'll go to our astronaut. So now we also need to check. We also need to check if the is grounded is equal to true, because if the astronaut is grounded, then only you are allowed to jump. So instead of just saying if the spacebar is clicked, we need to go and say if the spacebar is clicked and the what's it called, and is grounded is equal to true, then you can go ahead and jump. So let's say if input.get key down key codes dot space is it's pressed, and what is it, global dot is grounded is equal to true, like that. Then we can go ahead and do this. So add in some force, and then also set is grounded is equal to false. So we'll save that, and then we will jump into Unity, wherever that is, over here. Swap those around, and then here we can go and check and see if this works. So we'll go back to the game, and we will press play, and hopefully this works the first time, because if it does, that would be great. So let us see. What's this? Platform client. Okay, so we can no longer jump, which is a good thing. So this is the problem that I thought we would have. So now that we are not on a platform, we should, at the end of this development series, the astronaut will be destroyed and the game will be over because you are no longer on a platform. But for testing purposes, it's not really going to work because we can't really get back onto a platform. So let's go and start the game again and see if we can jump straight onto another platform, because I think I did jump at the beginning of the game, which means it does work. So let's have a look and see. So when this loads, we need to jump quickly and try and get onto a platform. Oh, we couldn't get there. Problem is it's going a bit slow. That's the problem. So pause, resume, still works. But I think that does work. So we'll just leave that for now, and then maybe in the next episode we'll check. But for now we'll move on to adding in the brake particle. So let's go and do that. So for that, what we want to do is first of all let's zoom out of here, and let's click on our platform here. So open up our platform prefab, and then we will create a new effect, a particle system in the prefab. So that is kind of what we want. Not really, it's going the opposite way. So in here, let me get my book so I can see what values we need. So where is that? Okay, so here. So for this, what we want, if you watch the breakout game, that's pretty much what we're gonna do. Kind of the exact same thing. So whenever the platform breaks suddenly, it's just gonna shatter into pieces, which just makes it look a lot better instead of just having the platform disappear, just like that. So let us go and do this. So to start off with, let's start with the emissions tab. So we'll open that up, and for here we're gonna create a burst, and that's gonna be of 30, so that's fine. And we're going to change the rate over time to 0 so that it all happens at the same time. If you can see here, it happens like all at once instead of having it happen like over 10 seconds or whatever. What do you do with 1? Okay, no, so 1 is not good. So we'll change that to 0, and we will we'll probably keep the count at 15 maybe. Is that too little? Okay, I think 15 is better. We can change it later. So that's the emissions done. So now we want to go and change the shape of it. So that's the next one. So we don't want a cone. We want a square probably. Where's square? Am I missing it, or what we're looking for? Box. Boxes, squares. Yeah, so that's good. So when this plays, that's what we want. So I think we'll see what it looks like over when we add in the different things. So now we want to actually, let's try and use a sphere. What does that look like? Okay, sphere looks a little bit better. I think we'll actually leave it as a cone, but then we might rotate it so that it just falls down. So rotation on the z-axis, I think. Let's try 180. No, so it's not on the z-axis. It would be on the y-axis, but 180. So that's way too big. So let's try 180. So now that should go down. So that's what we want. So that's fine. If we change the angle to 10, does that look better? maybe even 5. Okay, yeah, we'll keep it at the angle as 5, so that's fine. And then we want the radius to be 0.5 maybe. Yeah, that's fine. And then we should reset this so that it happens in the middle. And that didn't reset everything, did it? I think it did. Okay, so we'll undo that, and then we'll just go and set the position equal to 0, 0, and 0, like that. So that looks better. It's in the middle of the platform. So that's nice. Okay, so what's next? Now we want to change the duration of it. So where's that? So we need to find that. Okay, so the duration is here, the first one on the list. So we don't want it to last for 5 seconds. We only want it to last for probably about 1 second. Okay, that's fine. We're going to leave it on looping just for testing it, so we can get it like looking how we want it. And then we want to go and change the start lifetime over here to about, what is it? So we're going to change it up. So we're going to add in 2 variables or 2 constants, and this is going to choose a random one between those 2 so that they all appear at random times, so it doesn't all happen at the same time. So for this, we're going to add in a random between 2 constants, and the start is probably, we'll leave it at 0, and then the next one we'll add in at 5 maybe, or actually we'll say 0 and 1, so say 0 and 1 like that. Does that look fine? Yeah, that's fine. And then we want to change the start speed, so we're going to do the same thing, random between 2 constants, and let's try the same thing. So 1, 0 and 1. Okay, so no, that's not what we want. So we'll say 0 and 3. Let's zoom in here and see what we've got. So that looks better. And then we want to go down to a renderer down here, and let's see, so material, what do we want to do? We want to change it from the default one to a default line, so those are squares, so that's fine. So now we need to try and figure out how to change the size of that. So let's see, where's the size? Size. Surely that should have its own tab. Start size, yeah. So for this, we're going to also add in a difference between 2 constants. So we'll say, where'd it go? Start size from 0 to 0.5 maybe. Okay, that's a bit too. We'll say 0.4. Cool. And then what we want to do after that is we want to rotate them. So for that, again, we will also add in 2 different constants, so that they're not all the same. And for that, we'll say 0, or actually we'll say -4 or -45, so you can actually see the angle. And then for the upper value, we'll add in a +45, so that's fine like that. Cool. And then what else do you want to do? We want to change the color of it. So let's see, color over lifetime. So I think that's what we want. So in here we'll tick that, and then we'll also random between 2 gradients. So for this, we want to choose more roughly this color, and the dark one we want to choose the same color. Where is it? This one. So we want to choose the same color, but probably like a darkish one. So how do we change the color here? Yeah, we want to make it we'll make it probably darker like that, I think. So we don't want what's happened. So we want the blue one, and that we want. No, so we want that. But I think that's a bit too similar. So for this one, or rather this one, let's go and make it a bit lighter like that, maybe. Well, actually, do we want it like that? Okay, we'll leave it like that. And then for the second one, we'll just do the same thing. So change the color to roughly like that. So click on particle effect, and then for that one, we'll just make it the same color, and for the white one, we'll make it a slightly lighter color. So like that, and like that. Why did that work? So click on this one. Okay, clearly that's not working. To reselect it. So we'll click it. Why is it not working? Like that. Okay, that looks good. So we shall leave that like that. So let's see what that looks like. So we're gonna change this. We're gonna stop the loop and we're gonna play it once. It kind of looks better, I think. Anyway, we'll leave it like that for now. So what's next on the list? Okay, that's fine. Okay, so that's all the values that we need to change. So let's go back into the scene now and see what this looks like. So this is probably gonna play like straight away, which we need to change. We're also going to get rid of that capsule collider there. Not get rid of it, but just disable the view of it. So let's see when this loads eventually. Just want to check something quickly while that is loading. So we'll open this up again, wherever that went. So we'll pop this here. While that loads, I just want to pull up something here just to make sure that this is the right way to do it. So hopefully that loads today sometime. But it looks like it's taking quite a while. So let's see. So I think as soon as the game starts, you can see that each platform now has a particle system on it. So that's represented by that little cone symbol. So you can see that it plays straight away, but the computer's slow again, so it's a bit of a problem. But let me just look up something here quick. So where is it? Go to that. No, that's not what I wanted. The wrong one. Wrong one again. Come on. So is this working or is it frozen? Looks like it's frozen. Okay, so we'll play that. Hopefully it loads faster now. Any luck this time? Clearly not. Okay, even my browser is not really loading anything. It's too slow. We might just have to have a look at this in the next episode. Anytime today. Okay. So we'll leave it at that for today, because clearly that's not working, and neither is my scene transitions, so there we go. So we'll leave it there for today, and then on Monday's episode we'll come back to this, and hopefully I would have sorted this out. You can see in my stream as well that it's lagging a lot, so I apologize for that. I'm gonna figure this out as soon as possible, and we'll hopefully make the videos a lot better, so that we won't have this problem in the next ones. But yeah, in the next episode on Monday we'll come back to this stuff, and we'll fix these so that the particle system only shows when the platforms break and not at the start of the game. So we will go and do that, and then what I also want to do is I want to start working on the little astronaut's animation. So we're probably going to redesign the astronaut, and then we are going to, we're gonna design like a few astronaut sprites so that it looks, we're going to add them into like an animation so that when you move it's going to look like the astronaut is actually moving, or walking rather. We also might add in like a little jump animation, but we'll see how far we get. I'm not very good at drawing astronauts, so we'll see how that turns out. But for now, I think that's it for this episode, so thank you so much for watching again. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and like the videos if you like them. So yeah, that's about it for today, so thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you in Monday's episode. Goodbye.